This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing in the Garden State. I'm Mike Poro. Welcome back, Drop Pod people. We are on property at Twisted Dune Golf Club with General Manager Jim Endres. Jim, thank you so much for having us today.
Oh, thank you for coming out.
Listen, there's a lot to dive into with this golf course. Obviously, our subscribers, our followers, everybody that tells us, go visit Twisted Dune, top 5 public golf course in New Jersey. We got to witness why today. But before we get into the golf course, tell me a little bit about the history of this place. You know, how it came about, the whole nine.
So we opened in 2001. It was designed to be the second course for a group that had another private club in the area. And it was designed to be a walking-only golf club.
Wow.
And due to delays and things, ownership changed and decided right before opening that it would become a public golf course. So when you mention our cart paths, there weren't any before we took over, and they just took a bulldozer and just started tracing out lines.
Wow.
So then we opened as a public course, and it's been 25 years since.
Yeah, I mean, the course is in unbelievable shape. I got on property and I felt like this place is it's just different. It has so much character, you know, the natural vibes around this whole piece of property. Talk to me about the construction of this. And like, I know we talked a little bit about how much was actually moved, but talk to me about that aspect as well.
So the natural look of it is anything but natural. Where we are right now by the clubhouse, and we have the 10th and the 9th green behind us, this was a horse farm.
Wow.
And then in the back area of the property, it was not a quarry or anything, but it was a part for a construction company. So during the process, the number varies. It's over 2 million cubic yards they moved to build the dunes and everything, and to dig out for ponds. Possibly could be closer to 5. I think it's probably in the high 3s or so. So everything was designed and sculpted to be here. The golf course has changed so much over the years. Everything was flat. There wasn't a tree on it. Everything was cleared out during construction, and then over time now we've had all these pine trees and a few others grow up, which adds to the isolation that you feel on the golf course.
Yeah, I mean, this place gives a lot of like Union League national vibes with the mounds, the dirt, the bunkers. You know, it just screams so much good character. And talk to me about your background. Like, obviously, you know, being the general manager, being the guy that kind of oversees this whole property. What's your background in golf, getting into this business, that aspect of things?
I started playing golf when I was about 12. Back then, you know, it was a summer sport for us between ending baseball or something and then going into football. My friends and I would go out and play, and my grandfather played a lot, so I would play with him, but he was from the Philly area. Then I got a job at Great Bay when I was in high school, and then in college, that's how I paid for college, and I kind of never left the business. I graduated May, got a call from a friend of mine. I was working at Blue Heron at the time. I opened up Blue Heron, got a call from a friend of mine that they were looking for help at Innisbrook down in Tampa. And I think that was a Thursday morning, and I started work the following Wednesday.
Holy
Just
moly.
packed up and moved, went down there, went to Naples after that for a couple winters, was always at Blue Heron, opened up the East Course. Then I worked at Galloway. I got involved with the First Tee program. I was director of programming. I've been on property here since 2010. I started out teaching, and then I started helping out in the golf shop. And then, you know, people move on, things happen, and I've been in charge, the general manager, since 2016.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that's you're talking about some nice spots there. And then let's talk about the golf course, because I feel like, you know, going through the front nine and the back nine, it's really two different nines, you know. And when I got on the first hole, you know, obviously even leading up to it, you have a phenomenal driving range that people can come and practice. You got a nice little what looked like a chipping area. You got the putting green, like you got the whole nine in terms of a practice facility for the average person to come, like to, in a sense, warm up for the round, which most public golf courses don't have. Maybe they have like a 100-yard range, or they don't even have when they have a net, small putting green. Like, talk about your practice facilities a little bit.
Well, the practice facility, it is a big range. We do have a chipping green with a bunker and then a putting green, and it gives you, whether you want to practice on your game if you're not having a tee time or if you want to warm up, it works out fine for you. We are doing some work on the golf course, so we're not using the grass this year. That's turned into a nursery. We're going to redo some things, but it's open to the public from the morning till you got to be here by 6 p.m.
So someone could come and just practice in a sense.
Yes.
Here, like there's a fee just to use the practice facility.
$7 for a basket.
That's it.
And that gets into the mindset we have here when we start talking about greens fees, is we want accessibility for people. But there's a balance between not the product that you're giving out, but certain aspects of that. I know there's a struggle up north with driving ranges charging a lot more, and they're adding TrackMan and this. We try to keep it simple so we can keep the costs down. So there's balls you can hit, there's targets, and there's a good chipping green and everything. Not flashy, no TrackMan, nothing like that.
Yeah, but it allows you to practice the game of golf, and ultimately, sometimes people may only have an hour, and that's what they're looking to do is hit some balls, chip and putt, and having that ability to do it for a price of $7 is like, frankly, something you can't beat.
Yeah, I mean, we've tried to keep it around there. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, we're not going to use the grass this year. That's a huge expense once you start hitting off the grass with seed and fertilizer and all that. So we don't need to raise it. We feel comfortable where we are. And it's just all to make the golf course better. It's a good entry point to the golf course.
100%.
If you go to a nice practice area, you're going to expect that the golf course is just the same.
It just leads into like the positive vibes about going from one spot that is very solid and I'm able to work at things leading into the golf course. So as we talk about the front nine specifically, like you get a true links vibe when you're out here. Like there's a lot of different things looking around. For me, when I started on one, obviously I looked at number 4 as a whole for me, that I just kind of stood at the green and looked back. Talk about that view from 4's green.
Well, it's a good view. It's the fourth hole is a par 5, slight dog leg, but not really, because you're going to land into the wide area, and then you're just going to be able to turn. But as much as a links course, some trees, there are trees around the golf course. So you look back and you see that frame tee box, and it's staggered.
Yeah.
The white tee's here, then the blue tee goes here, then you go up to the back, and you just have this backdrop of it hitting out of a chute.
Yeah.
That's nice to look at. And you don't think about that. I go to golf courses and I look backwards, and it just get the overall vibe, and it just gives you an idea of what the architect was thinking and the attention to detail for it.
And that green, the way that green slopes from back to front, like I was 15 feet long, and Shaq and I are like, you got a good birdie putt. And then we get up there and it's like, oh my God, you just have to breathe on this thing because the pin's in the front, you're 15 feet, which you kind of think you had a good shot. Like going down that hill is so fast.
But that's part of the design of a good links course, is that you always want to have access to bounce the ball onto the fairway. So when I play that hole and I see a front pin, and I know it more than you, obviously, that it's such a slope, I go half a club less or a club less. I can putt from 10 feet off the green and keep it below the hole.
Yeah.
Once you get into the sections of the greens, then you're going to struggle.
Yeah, listen, I kind of thought on the front when I thought about 4, like looking back there was phenomenal. And I think the other kind of signature hole on the front is number 9. I think all the pictures that you guys see out there on social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, wherever you're getting it, that 9th green looking backwards, whether it's from the pro shop, whether it's from the hill and the backdrop, like that hole is so good.
It's the first hole on the golf course that water comes into play.
Wow.
And almost anywhere you're looking at that hole, you're going to have green and water. If you're at the right angle, it almost looks like the green's just right up the edge, infinity pool kind of a thing. Or when you look from across the other side, if you're on 10, you look back, you just see it right up against the water. And it's a fun hole to play.
Yep.
Because once again, in a true link style, to really get close, depending on where the pin is, you might have to land short of the green. You might have to land to the right and let it run. They always say, links golf courses, you play it on the ground. You're not flying into the pins.
Yeah, and that hole I felt like is kind of like a risk reward hole because, granted we play the blue tees today, but even from the backspin 565, the runoff that you get with your driver allows you to poke it out there maybe a little bit further and then being able to potentially hit a 3-wood, a 5-wood into the green and run it up there because to your point, that thing does slope hard right to left. Like there's a scoreable chance at 9, even though I'm sure you can make doubles and triples very easily as well.
If you keep it out of the water, you can have a good score, and it's a nice way to end a 9.
Yeah, no doubt. And I kind of like got to the back 9 and I felt like that's kind of when like the sea parted and it was like, I was on an island by myself. Every single hole, I think when I turn my scorecard to the backside, every single hole has a little note here. Because I just thought the back 9, from an outsider's perspective, was so good. every single hole from one to the next was like great green. The bunkering on 12 where those bunkers 60 yards. Like, talk to me about the back nine and just the overall gist and the vibe that the back nine provides compared to the front.
Well, the back nine, once again, there's two styles of a links golf course.
Yeah.
There is a point on the front nine where you're going back and forth parallel to each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice with the dunes that when you get on the green, you still feel isolated and all that. When you get to the back nine, it takes on some of those classic courses that have really high dunes and truly separate the hole from the other holes. Mm-hmm. So every time you almost every hole in the back, you're going to feel isolated. That's different than almost any other. You find that in private clubs. Mm-hmm. You don't find that in a lot of public golf courses. A lot of it's probably land. You just don't have enough room. Mm-hmm. Our property is just under 200 acres, and we use all of it. Mm-hmm. This is a big golf course.
Yeah, no doubt. I felt like I said that a lot out there to Shaq. We were talking about, like, what do you think? I'm like, it's big. I felt like that was a word that I kept using to describe this, like, tons of character, but it's just like, it's a big boy golf course. And to your point about, like, being isolated, I kind of wrote down, like, the green on 11. Mm-hmm. Like, you felt like you were, like, in this arena by yourself. You had the whole golf course all to yourself. Like, that was such a cool little green there, which kind of led me to 12 because, when you got closer to the green and you got within 100 yards, the way those three bunkers mound there, the green, like, that stretch from 11 to 12 was so good.
Yes. 11's probably the lowest point on the golf course. And and once again, when you're talking about being at the Jersey Shore, that has to be made. Mm-hmm. They dug that down. And it's not only is the green lower, the dunes are some of the highest. So there is such a stark difference when you're doing that. And then the thing about 12 is for a par 5, most par 5s you're going to play, your second shot is, let me just get it down as far as I can. Mm-hmm. The math in your head of playing 12 starts on the second shot. Yeah. Can I get it over those bunkers? Yep. Do I have to land short? Mm-hmm. And luckily, that green, all wide open in front. Mm-hmm. If you want to take your 4-wood, 3-wood, 5-wood, whatever it is, you get over, you'll be rewarded. There's not some bunker waiting for you. Yeah, you can run it up.
Yeah, that was my dilemma because I was rating a number where I couldn't get over it. So I laid up with a 5-iron, and I'm like, thank God I hit this because if I hit my 5-wood, I would have been dead into the smack of that bunker. Mm-hmm. And now you're looking at 6, 7, 8, who knows? But even leaving 12 and then going to 13, a great par 3. Like, that hole from where we were playing today was like 185 into the wind, like, do not miss it right. Left is no easy cakewalk either. The green was tough. Like, that's a super challenging par 3, I think.
You're getting to the theme of Twisted is that I think we have the best collection of par 3s in this area.
Yeah.
We have the third. You didn't even mention the third hole.
Yeah.
That's a bear.
Another bogey on the third hole.
It's 200 and some yards. It's usually into the wind. You have that one. 8 is the one that it's a short one.
Another bogey.
Maybe playing 140.
Yep.
Green can be a little tricky. 13 we're talking about now, and then I'm sure you're going to mention 16. Yeah. But it is a strong collection of par 3s. And the holes are strong out here. There's multiple tees. The trick is to play the right tee. Mm-hmm. Because if you play the right tee out here, you're going to hit every club in your bag.
Yep. And
some holes are not designed for a hybrid.
Yeah, and speaking of the par 3s, I mean, 4 of them out here. I bogeyed 3 of them and made 1 par. So, so that's your point of being challenging on top of that because 13 was good. I thought the second shot into 14 with a back right pin, like another aesthetically pleasing look to a super tough green. The way that thing is all contoured, I'm like getting up there with Shaq. I'm like, wow, you get up and down because I missed it long and left. It's like, don't miss it right because it's going to go down the hill. Another tricky green there at 14.
Yeah, we put that pin there for you today. It's the funny part about it, I think it's the toughest driving hole. Mm-hmm. The left side of the green, a lot funnels down. So it's one of the best birdie holes out there. Wow. But because you're going to get within 10, 15 feet most likely. Uh-huh. But when we put it up on the back right, then it's the toughest second shot we have.
Yeah.
Because it's carrying the whole way. But if you want to play that way. Most people probably aim to the center and try to putt.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was, when I left there, I was like, wow, that green where that pin was super difficult. My one, bright spot of the day is I did birdie 15. That was a nice little birdie. But another tough green, which reminded me a lot of number 9, the way that thing sloped from right to left, having a little clearer of an idea when I got up there. And I was like, okay, I can kind of see this thing is all kind of like tilted big time. But 15 was another fun hole that, like, you hit a good drive. There was a scoreable opportunity there.
It's my favorite hole
Oh, wow.
because I love the second shot in there
Yep.
because you are hitting downhill.
Yeah.
And like you said, you have that slope from right to left. When you look at that hole, people always ask me any insider knowledge here. I'm like, when you're 150 yards out on a hole, look at the hole and look where the bunkers are. If there's a bunker on the left-hand side, it looks a little higher than the other one, the whole thing's going to go that way because the place is flat and it's man-made. There's nothing, there's no mountain, there's nothing like that. It's the architecture and the shaping that's going to make it move where you want, and that's in the back of your mind. So 15, hopefully you've learned it by then, and you can see that the car path is really high on one side, and it's on the left, and it's going to, everything's going to go that way.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really cool, which kind of led me to the last three, which I thought were like a very challenging final three holes because, like you had two par fives early in the back, opportunity to score. We just hit on 15, but like 16, 17, 18, starting with 16, another super challenging long par three. But again, it's just the theme here. Like the character on 16 was so good. Like you had to hit a high quality shot, but if you did, you got rewarded. If you didn't, you got bunkers all around, swallowing the ball up.
It's a very tough par three. It's the unofficial signature hole of the golf course.
Gotcha.
We've used it in publications and everything. What people fail to see sometimes is that there is a little neck of approach fairway on the left-hand side that you can hit to there. But it's also a tough green, and this is where, when you talk about 14 and that, getting to the right level of the green. If it's a back pin and you get it up there, it's pretty flat back there, and you can make a putt on there because we're about to get to 17, and I watch you make a great up and down, and it's the same thing on 17. So really identifying the green early and understanding where the pin is, that helps a lot.
And talking about 17, like, I thought really the cool thing about 17 was the second shot in. Like that kind of approach over like what looked like a valley, but it required a yardage that you knew because, like to your point, I hit it long and left, which, one of my better up and downs of the day. But like, you don't want to miss it long there with the flag where it was. Like that's a super challenging second shot coming into there.
And it's the only shot probably on the golf course that there's no run-up link style.
Yeah, true.
It's true carry, except for some of the par threes. So it is a difficult shot.
Yeah.
But it's a wide fairway. There's always an out here.
Yeah.
We're not that mean.
Yeah. And then 18, obviously, finishing with, according to the scorecard, the hardest hole in the golf course. You're talking 475 from the Blues, damn near 500 yards from the Blacks. Like, that requires two high quality shots coming in because like you could feel real good about your round. You get to 16, you make a bogey. You get to 17, make a bogey. You get to 18, you could be looking at double if you don't hit two quality golf shots here. Super challenging finishing hole.
It's a very simple hole. It just has length, but it has an optical illusion to it, which gets me. The fairway dips down. So if you get your drive and you get down there, it's not a blind shot, but you don't see the surface of the green when you hit.
That's a good point.
And it's a very long green, so it gets deceiving trying to figure out how far to go because the green itself can almost be a club and a half, two clubs. So it's always an uncomfortable feeling, not knowing what you're truly aiming at. It's there, but you don't see it.
Yeah.
And then you're standing there with a 3 wood in your hand, 4 wood hybrid, and you're like, I don't always hit the shot the best anyway, but let's do that. So
I think that's a great point because where I was, I had 188 coming in. And I hit 5-iron, and I'm like, I think that's pretty good. And then I'm still short of the green by maybe a good solid club. And I'm like, man, it just didn't look like that from back there. But I just felt like as I finished up 18, like that kind of put a bow in the back nine. And I just kind of, was so impressed with not only the entire golf course itself, but just like the back nine specifically because every hole was just so unique. Every hole was just so different. But ultimately, every hole was fair and fun. And I think that's the ultimate goal as us golfers come out here and play. Is like, we don't want to feel like things are unfair or you don't have a chance to make a birdie. Like, every hole here, if you hit the right shot, you hit the right approach, you're going to have a good look at it.
Everything's right in front of you. People always ask about course knowledge. What do I need to know? Back to 15, I say, look, the top of the hill is 150 yards in. It's the only time you really don't see the green, and it could affect your shot. But nothing's hidden. Everything's out
That's a
there.
good point.
You have open shots. You can thin a club and still maybe get it on the green.
Yep.
So it penalizes bad shots. Sometimes not as severe as you think. You can get away with a lot out here.
Yeah. And as a guy like you play here, you've been here, you get to see the changes of this entire golf course as they go. What is your favorite hole from tee to green all the way through?
I said it was 15. I've had success on 15, and it boils down to the second shot because I'm always in this 145 range, and to me, that 145 downhill, I'm debating between clubs, and I know, okay, am I going to hit a wedge? Where am I going to live with 3/4 9 iron? And hitting a fun little punch shot that you're going to hold on to where the wind goes,
Yeah.
a creative side to that, a little creativity with the shot and an option. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, I mean that's a great pick there. I love 15, and especially when you make a birdie there, you love it even more. But I do want to ask, some of the questions I mentioned earlier is, a lot of things I get from behind the scenes is, Mike, like, listen, I loved the optics, I loved how it all looked, the pictures were outstanding, but like, what does it cost? Because obviously money matters to everybody in the world we live in today. If someone wanted to come weekend morning, they wanted that 6:30 first tee time of the day, what does that cost versus if I wanted to come weekday, twilight, sometime in the afternoon? What is the range there?
So it all depends on the time of the year. The highest it's going to be this summer, unless we make a change or something, will be about $135 for Saturday morning
With a cart.
with a cart. It's funny, I've been in this business a long time, and I remember in the beginning it was all about paying extra for carts, and now it seems like it's coming back. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but we've always just been carts included. And if you want to walk, it's the same fee. We try to make it simple. During the week, we do all have senior rates,
Okay.
and our price structure starts in the morning, and then goes first tee time to 2 p.m. There's a break, then there's a 3 p.m. break, and then after 4 o'clock we do 9 holes. So a 9-hole round around here will be about $35. That includes the cart. It's only 9 holes. We don't play till dark here.
Gotcha.
You can't see for one, and people tend to crash golf carts
Yeah.
in the dark. So our goal is to make sure that you have enough time to finish your round. So that's why we don't try to squeeze it in, but we do offer a 9-hole rate. And so, you're looking for today, it's $89. If you're a senior, it's $69. Then we go to $75, and then it's $60 after 3.
Well, so you offer a 9-hole rate. That's a rarity, because I feel like some people will just keep the full rate at whatever time all the way till dark, in a sense. I love the idea that if I was coming out of work and I want to go play 9 holes, that I'm gonna actually get a 9-hole rate that's affordable. Like, wow, I'm only gonna go over there for $40 with a cart. Like, that's unheard of. I feel like, no.
If you look online, and a lot of people book online, you don't see it.
Right.
Now, can you show up to the golf course and maybe they do something? I'm not sure, but if I look online and I say you're still charging 120 in the morning at 5:30, I'm not going to show up anyway.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree.
So it gets back to growing the game.
Yeah.
And the thing about this area, we have a lot of great golf courses here. And we are a destination for vacation packages, obviously vacation homes. You don't want to overprice yourself. I've seen that happen in other regions. So we have a simple operation, which is nothing simple about it, but small clubhouse, basic, not a huge parking lot, or, you don't have to park 5 miles away, anything like that. We just keep it about the golf course.
Yeah. Which is great, because keeping things simple sometimes is the best way to go. It's like, you're very transparent. Here's what it is. There's no like tricks. There's no hiding things. Everything's out in front of you. Similar to the golf course, that whole point of view, I think, is appreciated by the public, because you're not blindsided by anything.
No, I mean, you might not like our policies, but we'll tell you what our policies are. I get in, people call me, why can't I tee off at 5 o'clock for 18 holes? Well, do you want to pay $90? And get 14 in, or do you want to do what we want you to do in a way and charge you a lesser rate and play 9 and enjoy yourself?
Yeah.
But prices have gotten high.
Yeah.
And I will say this, so has operating a golf course. Budget, salaries. I mean, the state of New Jersey, the minimum wage has doubled in the last 5 years. So prices need to go up.
Right.
But have you added much value to it?
Yeah.
That's the balance you get to. And some places, maybe, some places not.
But your price at 135, the max. I mean, like, that's what I've always kind of said to our audience and everybody that listens. Like, $100 is the new norm. Like, that is what it is. Like, if you want to pay for a quality golf course in good conditions at a normal time, like, that's what you're going to pay. That's just the running rate. Now, some people will push the $200 envelope, but some people are in that $100 to $140 range, which is places, and it's like, That's the going rate right now. And you're going to get a high quality product out here. And I think that's ultimately kind of like what the public wants.
They want value.
Mm-hmm.
How you establish that value is one thing. But going back years ago, when Blue Heron opened, I think the rates then were 125. It was like the first high-end daily fee golf course. People would complain, and I would just say, you don't have to play here every week.
Right.
Take some time.
Yeah.
Find a time, treat yourself, come down, travel. Yeah, look, trust me. I mean, I have access to this golf course, and I know a lot of people. But if I was in the golf business, I know I wouldn't be playing this golf course probably every week, but I would be trying to get 9 holes somewhere else or after work or somewhere to practice. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's like anything else in life. Like too, you want to treat yourself to a nice dinner. You're gonna, you're gonna spend potentially up to $200. You and your wife, you and your girlfriend, you and your family. So it's kind of like the same idea at golf courses as well. Like yes, they may be priced a little higher, but like to your point, you're not playing here 7 days a week, right?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna come play once a month, every so often, it's like all right, I'm treating myself to this high quality round of golf that may be a little higher end, but it's well worth it, and it's something that I feel like I kind of deserve.
And I think one of the things, obviously golf is huge with social media and a lot of, groups that people post about their rounds, and then, you go down the rabbit hole what the comments are. I think one issue we and other golf courses deal with is that everyone wants to make it an apples to apples comparison.
Yeah.
And you play enough golf and play enough golf courses that they're just different.
Yep.
And they're priced different. And their budgets are different.
Yep.
And you can't compare some places, if you want to talk about pace of play. Oh, it took so long. Well, you played on Saturday at 12 p.m. And some guy comments, I played in 2.5 hours at 6 a.m. by yourself on a 6,000-yard golf course, not a 7,400-yard golf course. So it's great that people are talking about the game. That's just only going to make it stronger, and it's going to grow it. But understand, there's different styles to this.
Yeah, it's not a one size fits all.
You might go to a nice steakhouse. You might go to Chipotle.
Yeah.
So, and that's fine.
I totally,
because you got to play.
Yep. Listen, I think that point is it's not one size fits all. It's everybody's under the same umbrella. It's variety, and that's kind of like how it is, and that's just the way the world is, the way life is. Like, it's okay. Like that's kind of the whole theme here. But I do want to kind of ask you this one question here, is because in this area a lot, Shaq and I have been down here a lot this spring. Why Twisted Dune over others in this Egg Harbor Township area?
We talked a little bit about price, but there's a few other courses that are in our same price range that are solid as well. Because I want to keep my job. But it's really gets down to a matter of style and its preference.
Yeah.
I can think of 2 other golf courses, and I'm trying to think who's been rated what. But the three courses that I'm thinking about, and I don't want to mention names, so I don't want to leave anybody out. They're all different.
Yeah.
You might want a parkland golf course that's tree lined and doesn't have the wind as much of an effect. You might like one that's a little flatter. So really it gets down to preference, I think.
Yeah.
And you want that. You want variety in your golf game.
Yeah.
We don't have any members here. We have 2 members. They've been here a long time, but we don't publish memberships. First of all, I feel like unless you're playing a lot of golf, it's not worth it to you.
Right.
And to do those rounds, to make your membership worthwhile, you probably don't have time to play anywhere else.
Yeah, no.
I like going and playing other golf courses. I like playing golf courses that are harder. I like playing golf courses that are easier. Different sight lines. So it's hard to say why us, but why not it's one of the best.
Yeah, I will echo this, because a lot of people said you got to come play here, you got to come visit here, that this place is an unbelievable piece of property that is extremely well kept. Your superintendent, their crew, they absolutely kill it out here. It is definitely a must visit golf course if you've never played, and if you have, you need to come back and check this place out, because I can see why when people talk top golf course in South Jersey, top 5 golf course in New Jersey, talking public golf courses, that this place is constantly in the conversation, because you guys here are doing an absolutely tremendous job. So listen, I can't thank you enough for having Shaq and I out here today.
Oh, it's good to have you.
Appreciate everything.
All right,
Thanks again.
We'll see you next time.
Absolutely.